Hey everyone, welcome back to Rob's Car World. Today's top pick is a 1969 Chevy Impala convertible. He's asking $34,900. I'll drink to that, and we'll discuss the price in a little while. Let's go check this car out. I found this car on Craigslist. It's outside of Chicago. It's nothing special. It's a plain Jane type of Chevy Impala convertible. Just the fact that it's an Impala and it's a convertible in itself doesn't make it plain Jane, because down the pecking order of should I buy a two-door hardtop custom, a sport coupe, should I buy a four-door sedan, a hardtop, should I buy a station wagon, and the person walks into the dealership and says, no, I want a convertible, so just that step alone is something very special, right? And so convertibles are a special breed of cars, and it catches my attention. This one here catches my attention because it looks to be a very honest car, but he is asking a lot of money for it, and we'll get into the pricing, like I said. This 69 Chevy Impala represents the fourth generation that ran from 65 to 1970. It was built off the B-body, front engine, rear-wheel drive, full-frame body construction. This car was restyled in 69. A couple of things they did was add this new wraparound front bumper, and the rear bumper was also a wraparound bumper, which was pretty cool back then. So the styling had a refresh in 69. They added the, steering lock, lockout ignition, which was a federal mandated requirement by 1970, and Chevrolet did it by 1969, so they jumped on it pretty quick. So this car had some nice refresh to it, a 69. It's a one model year only look, which I like. I think that presents a nice feeling too when you can buy something that's a one model year only car. So let's dive into the car itself and see if we can kind of tear it apart a little bit. I mean, I hate to say tear it apart because the car is in nice condition. It's got the 350 cubic inch engine. The standard engine was the 327 that year, and the 350 was the uptick. It either had 255 horsepower or 300 horsepower, so I'm not sure which engine he has here. He is showing dual exhaust, but the carburation looks like a two-barrel carburetor, so that's one of the first questions I'll ask about what small block he has in there. But again, the paintwork looks to be very nice. The front bumper is very nicely restored. However, this is original or whatever, but just to restore that front bumper would cost you a few $1,000s if you had to have it re-chromed today. Everything's so expensive, right? Has the beautiful rally wheels. It's got radial TA tires, which is a good look. Everything looks to be lined up. It looks to be laser straight. The front hood is matching with the fender very well. The door, the rear quarter panels. You can't see any waviness in the paint, but again, this is, a photograph. It's hard to tell if there's Bondo underneath the car. I'm sure there is bodywork underneath the car, but the extensive, nature, if the sheet metal was changed and things like that. If this car has had its life in Chicago, you can tell a little bit from the undercarriage photographs what the body may have looked like a bit, but it looks to be a nice car, but I would probably bring a magnet just to check it out, But the beltway looks really nice. There's those side markers that came into effect in 1968, and they carried on after that. And the rear panels look beautiful. I mean, that's a big rear quarter panel, folks. The rear quarter panel lines up very nice with the trunk lid, lines up very nice with the new styled two-piece bumper. I actually think this bumper had a seam here in the center. The front bumper does not have that. The front bumper is one piece. There's that seam in that bumper there. But it has dual exhaust, so again, we'd have to ask what engine he has in there. Looks like he has a power antenna. The vinyl roof looks in nice condition. It's a glass roof, I believe, and it might look a little tired, a little faded in time. I'm hoping that the condition of that roof is as nice as it looks. Rubber stripping around the trunk lid looks nice. He splatter painted the trunk, restored the car. So nice job, great presentation. Engine bay looks really pretty. I mean, again, a small block 350 cubic inch engine. We're not sure which is in there, but it looks to be nicely presented. No air conditioning, of course. It wasn't popular back then to put air conditioning in convertibles. It does have power brakes, which is an option, and it does have power steering, which probably was an option back then as well. The wheel wells here look nicely original. He's got the power booster, has a little surface rust on it, but that's typical because that tin around the power booster tends to rust out quicker. Nice side view of the car. He provides some great photographs, which is always welcomed. These angles here where the fender catches on to the door panels and all that, these are the angles here that normally there's misalignments. You can tell if the car was really crashed. So when you see it lining up very nicely, and the belt bottom here looks nice where the sill is, you can tell that this car probably was in very nice shape when it started on its restoration and continued today. So there's the inside of the car. It has the Astro ventilation, but it did have vents, hand vents for fresh air inside the car. I can see 2 shims here on the front door hinge. If you bought a car from the factory, you would see shims on them. So that was a way of making up for errors in the alignment of the car. But again, the car looks to be very straight and original. Those might be the original shims that came with the car. One thing that is troubling for this price that he's asking for is that the front seat is not matching the door panels nor the rear seat. So I don't know where he procured this front seat, but he got a good deal on it, popped it in there. It looks good for now. But at the price point that he's asking, you would want that seat cover to at least match the rear seat cover. I mean, it's nice. Don't get me wrong. It's not a bad front seat. It's probably very comfortable too. But you would want that to match the door panels and the rear seat as well. The striker area here for the door looks to be nicely detailed. Again, I don't see any overspray on any of the components here, so it looks like he took the car apart when he did the paintwork. Dashboard looks great, no cracks in it. Steering wheel looks great. I don't know, the applique here is plastic on both sides. I'm not sure why the plastic here is faded. It might have something to do with the sun if they kept the top down, but again, that's not a problem. The radio is aftermarket radio. No big gauges except for a bunch of idiot lights. 5-digit speedometer shows 62,000 miles, but we don't know what the real miles are. So a really nice car. There's the undercarriage of the car. There's the full frame. I mean, the car presents itself as being original looking. You can see the bolts here for the fenders and all look to be kind of older. So the car might have presented itself very well before it was repainted and restored. So this is a good condition car. It's not a pristine car. There's some surface kind of rust here around the frame that I would, if I owned the car, I would get, a wire brush or a sander and, just detail this up with some nice Pour 15 paint, to make sure it doesn't rust on you. The car might have sat for a little while. So, yeah, there's a little spider web there. So this car might be sitting for a little while unused. So, but a really nice car. I like it a lot. I think it's well presented. And now let's get into the price. The price, $34,900, is a lot of money. It shouldn't stop you from looking at the car and negotiating something a little differently. But when I went on Bring a Trailer, there was 7 results for a 69 Chevy Impala. And many of them were high-performance models, like an SS 427 with a center console. This car was sold for $45,000 in 23. Here's a 69 Chevy Impala that was sold in 2021 for $15,300. Very similar to the car that we're looking at right now. And you want to give some time because of, inflation and all that. I can understand that. But again, here's one for $24,000. But this car is going to have Cragar wheels, and it also has a center console, and the black with the white interior matches, and this is just $24,000, 2017, some time ago. But yeah, I'm thinking that this car is $10,000 overpriced and then some, so maybe even $22,000. And he knows it as well, because this person might be a consignment person that's consigning this car, and he built up some gross profit in there as his commission. And maybe the seller knows that it's not worth $34,900. So there might be some room to negotiate on this car. So you go there, if you're local, you go there, you look at the car, have somebody look at it for you. You make an offer, you tell them about the interior of the car, you tell them about the undercarriage of the car not matching the top side of the car, We talk about the 350 cubic inch engine not being anything special, and you make your best offer without making the person feel bad, and you never know who calls you back, 6 months from now, that type of thing. So anyway, a good looking car, a lot of fun, and that's it with this one. So to look this car up, you can search Craigslist 1969 Chevy Impala convertible in Chicago. If you plug that in your browser on Craigslist, that car will come popping at you. If you're not a subscriber to this page, this channel, please subscribe. We'd love to see you. Please share with friends that love cars. And there's a long video, but had a lot to talk about tonight on this convertible. It's sometimes things aren't what they appear, and this one here seems to be priced high. But again, I love the car. I love the era. And remember, this is a 1969 model, and it's still less expensive than the average price of a new car today, which is $49,000. This is Rob Loferese. Thanks for joining me tonight. I'll see you here.